Okay, so we're going to be writing and solving proportions. Problems mostly are going to be taken from this homework, 5.4 practice A. We can start with the first one, 7 over 4 equals y over 28. Okay, 7 over 4 equals y over 28. We should probably go back for a second here and say something like this. If you get paid $10 for 1 hour of work, then for 2 hours of work, you should get paid $20. And for 3 hours of work, you should get paid $30. And there are a couple of things going on here. First of all, you should notice that when you multiply 1 hour times 2, you get 2 hours. And when you multiply $10 times 2, you get $20. And also, if you multiply 1 hour times 3, you get 3 hours. Multiply $10 times 3, you get $30. Now, there's something else going on here too. There's another pattern. We call it cross multiplying, where 10 times 2 is 20, and 20 times 1 is also 20. And you can do this with any of these numbers. If you have 10 over 1 and 30 over 3, right? 10 times 3 is 30. 30 times 1 is 30, and you can even do it here. 20 times 3 is 60, 30 times 2 is also 60. So, going back to our original problem, we've got some options here. The one that I encourage students to do is to make your lives easy. 4 times 7 is 28. Well, I'm going to have to do 7 times 7, therefore y is equal to 49, because 7 times 7 is 49. So that's the gist of how these things go. Every single one of these should work that way. Except, sometimes the numbers aren't quite so friendly, like, 4 and 6. 4 times what is 6? This is problem 6. So let's do that one. That's 55 over 4 equals, what is it? H over 6. Okay. So I'm going to cross multiply the 55 and the 6. Should be 330, I think. And then you have to, okay, this is interesting. What students should recognize is that 55 times 6 equals 4 times h. And so you multiply 55 times 6, you get 330. And 330 equals 4 times h, and this should be recognizable to students because we've solved 1,000 of these equations by now. Algebraically, divide this side by 4, divide this side by 4. Parents, that doesn't make much sense to you, then that's fine. Just know you should recognize, though, that you need to do 330 divided by 4 to get h. That shouldn't be too much of a stretch. 330 divided by 4, that's a 32, a 1, and a 0. 4 goes into 10 twice. Decimal point, 0, bring it down. 4 goes in 5 times. So h equals 82.5. Now let's do this in a word problem. Let's take, where is it? Yeah, number 8 costs $270 for 3 people to go on a fishing trip. How much does it cost for 10 people to go on a fishing trip? What students are expected to do is take that information and write a proportion and say, well, if it's $270 for 3 people, and yes, they have to include units. It's so important that they put dollars and people on this and not just 270 over 3. Cost, they use C for cost. How much does it cost for 10 people? Things that students need to recognize is that people matches up with people. The mistake students will make is this, 270 over 3 equals 10 over x. And if you solve this, you're going to have a hard time getting the right answer. You'll never get the right answer. And so one thing about putting the units on is you can see that the 3 people and the 10 people need to be matched up on the bottom, and that the cost in the numerator here has to be paired up with the cost in the numerator there. So 3 times an ugly number is 10, so I'm going to resort to cross multiplying. And that's not the only strategy. That's not the only way to do it. There are definitely students who will simplify first. I can get into that more later. 3 times c, and then divide both sides by 3. C is equal to $900. And another good thing about including the units is that C is equal to 900, but then you say to yourself, wait, is it 900 people? Is it 900 chairs? Is it 900 whatever? And if you just look over to the left, you can see, oh, okay, it's supposed to be $900 because the other numerator is in dollars also. And when I talked about simplifying, I could say, well, if it's $270 for 3 people, what's the cost for 1 person, right? And so you do 270 divided by 3, and you get 90. So, okay, I know it's $90 for 1 person. What I can do is then multiply by 10, and you end up with $900. So, second way to do it. But that's writing and solving basic proportions right there.